Hello, this is my page, FOTIP portfolio. This is my 6-year teaching at a Catholic elementary school, a private school in Los Angeles County. I hold my credential in multiple subject and with an English language learner authorization, and also my master's degree in elementary education, as well as my bachelor's of science in child and adolescent development. I teach second grade and I really love it. I get to do a lot of fun activities and different things in our Catholic faith. In second grade, that makes it a special year for my class. Some more information about my website and some sites of interest for parents that I use and integrate for math and science, ELA, and social studies. Also, communication and different platforms that I use in my classroom. The one I'm using right now is Google Classroom for many different things, my virtual students, and Google Meets as well through Google Classroom. A quote that I like is "Don't let anyone ever dull your sparkle." So I like have this in my classroom, and I like for my students to understand what it means and know that no one will influence you or dull your sparkle. Next, my resume. Just outlining obviously my contact information, my objective being to teach in an elementary school setting, my educational background at Loyola Marymount University for my credential and my master's, my bachelor's, which I earned at Cal State Fullerton, and I also attended Cal State Dominguez Hills and the Saddleback Community College, all in Southern California. And then my employment background, where I teach right now, the Catholic school I previously taught at, different grade levels that I taught, and my job backgrounds from not being a teacher as well. This is my assessment page, so just describing what the different assessments are, the CTP, Continuum of Teaching Practice, the POP cycle, and also the Individualized Learning Plan, the ILP. So I'm going to go ahead and click on CTP, Continuum of Teaching Practice. And just show that I have the different practice levels of the teacher development here, as well as the different CSTPs on my self-evaluations. So as you can see here on CSTP 3, Understanding and Organizing Subject Matter for Student Learning, you can see that my first semester, for example, I rated myself in exploring, that's the yellow, then applying, green, and then the blue, integrating. And then this last semester in the spring, I rated myself in innovating in the specific category of demonstrating knowledge of subject matter, academic content standards. So I feel like I've grown as an educator, and I kind of continued on that progression for that self-evaluation there, as well as you can see my other self-evaluations here also for the different CSTPs, and then the PDF file here at the bottom that can be downloaded with all of those as well. And then continuing, my CSTP evidence is here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, as well as CTP here. So next I'm going to go into my POP cycle and show an example of one. So there's semester 1, 2, and 3 here. So first semester was ELA lesson plan. The next POP cycle here was in writing. And this next one was ELA, but also cross-curricular because it had to do with social studies, which for semester 2. And then my third semester, which was this fall, was specifically social studies, and the topic was people in history. And so we discussed in my class who is Cesar Chavez. And we also discussed timelines, which was one of the standards right here, which is place important events in their lives in order. So my students actually, after learning about Cesar Chavez and putting events from his life on a timeline, we actually my students had created their own timelines also. And then we learned more about Cesar Chavez through multiple means, text, images, and video. So there is my 9-page pop cycle here. And at the end, I use an exit ticket for my students to tell me what they learned about Cesar Chavez. And then here's my teacher inquiry page, which shows my lesson plan from the spring semester. Or my ILP from this spring semester, showing my project, which the title was COVID-19 School Reopening Safely. So here you can see my campus was approved to open under the waiver process, and the dates and my goals, the milestones here, which took place in the end of February through March and then the beginning of April. So basically, my plan was just to execute COVID-19 plan for my school, ensuring that all students, staff, and teachers and families, parents felt comfortable sending their children on campus and being on campus. And so I was updating those guidelines and protocols to my colleagues, helping guide them as to how to teach high flex, so students online as well as students in person, and then kind of surveying parents and see how they felt in sending back their students. My school staggered the students to come back, so there was students on campus at different age levels, starting with TK through second grade, and then continuing third and fourth, and then fifth and sixth, and seventh and eighth. So I think that staggering really did help, because it wasn't everyone back on campus at once, and everyone was able to learn the new norms, the routines, the protocols in their class with their teacher, and were able to, the teachers were able to use each other as resources. So being in second grade, TK through second, we kind of learned from each other and helped each other out. And then as our coworkers, our other teachers at the school had their students back, it helped them to have us already started and kind of be able to see us and use us as a resource and an example for opening. So that is my teacher inquiry, my ILP, and you can see here the images from when we sent the surveys that I created on Google Forms. And this was specifically surveying parents to see if they were okay with sending their children back for in-person instruction before that happened. This is from 7th and 8th grade at my school. So you can see 74% said yes, they were comfortable with it. And then also I attached another image from the survey, which was from our 4th and 3rd grade parents, which I also did for Google Forms, all of the parent surveys, and this showed that 62% were comfortable sending their students or child back, and that was out of 24 responses. The first one was out of 35, so a broader, bigger amount of parents that were surveyed, but there are more students in those classes as well. So next is my technology competency page, and it shows the different subpages here: technology tools, technology enhanced playlists, and computational thinking. So you can see that I have a video here, as well as an explanation of that, and then also my playlist. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. So here I basically created a choice board for English language arts, where students could click on the black buttons to learn more about activities that we were taking place, that they were doing in class. Some independently, some with a partner or as a whole. So the options were record reading, read to self, listen to reading, work on words, free choice, read with someone, spelling practice, work on writing, and record summary. So this all had to do with a short story that they were working on, which included their vocabulary, their spelling for the week or 2-week period. So there's also the standards there. And if I will go ahead and click on one, let's say work on words, it will open to this description. So it's create a presentation on Google Slides to show the use of your vocabulary words, which are integrated into the short story that they're reading. And it says you should have a separate slide for each, include a picture, the definition, and your own created sentence showing the meaning of the word. And then, of course, don't forget to share the Google presentation with my email when they're finished. And on that part, I did have to remind students in the beginning and have my email on the board. And some of them did need help from their peers or myself to make sure they got the email shared correctly. So that was one example. And then another one, read with someone. So that was basically just reading with a partner. So they'd either ask a classmate to read and they could, social distance right now and read, or they could use their Google Meet link if there was someone virtual that they wanted to meet up with and use a device in the classroom, or if they were at home, they could do that as well. And for those who are at home and maybe the time didn't meet with someone else, they could read with a family member or someone at their home to be able to still complete this read to someone activity. So the last part of my presentation is the leadership page. So basically saying my leadership goals. So that I would like to encourage differentiation and meet all learner needs. My long term is to encourage and guide my colleagues in differentiation techniques and strategies. In addition, my long-term objective is to enroll and complete an administrative credential online program, which I've been looking into. So I hope in the next couple of years to enroll in that and earn my administrative credential so that I can be a principal at any school in California with that admin credential. And so my short-term goals already met, which was to look into different programs. So I found a few that I'm interested in. Another short-term goal is to use a variety of informal assessments to collect data on student learning who are presently in my class. And then that long-term goal is to have data-driven results in my curriculum, planning and lesson planning in future years. So during my summer planning, my unit planning, and my whole curriculum map to kind of rearrange that based on data from that year, not just on what I've seen and observation, but actually have it be data-driven. So the last thing I'm super excited about was my teacher leader project. I felt like I really grew as a leader in my school. And so right here you can see the slides that I created with this presentation. So again, my presentation title for this project was Reopening Plan, Return to Campus Safely. And so the objective was to ensure that the students may return for in-person instruction on campus while following all COVID guidelines, and being the state guidelines and the county guidelines, as well as our school district, the Catholic school district, were in their guidelines that they set. So basically my duties were to just ensure that those were met, that the teachers understood those, and I could help guide them and make sure things were all ready for the students around the campus. So as you can see, here's some pictures of the classrooms. We used floor markings to give visuals for students to make sure that they knew that they were in their own space and they could social distance, especially for the younger grades. We also had floor stickers for visuals, signs, different things, the protocols displayed in the hallway, on the bulletin board, things displayed in the restrooms for students. We had to adapt how we had lunch. We fundraised for a water bottle filling station. We also got different donations, as well as changed our curriculum.